Hello guys, what is going on? I'm Mazda and welcome to a new series on the channel. Well, sort of series. It's going to be a monthly series, as you can probably tell by the title. I'm going to be doing like a month's top 5 sort of thing. And might switch up to top 6 if there's just one thing I can't keep out, or top 3, or even just top 1, depending on how many comics I read. Speaking of that, just to give people sort of well, just to show like the meaning behind the top 5, I feel like to know the amount of comics I've actually read, the total number of comics I've actually read this month, is like sort of paramount to that. So I have read 18 comics this month. Obviously, this isn't including manga or anything. This is just comics, Western comics. So yeah, this is gonna be a top 5 of the 18 that I've read this month. I just want to point this out in case people don't realize. Got a bit of set design going on here. I usually don't do that, but you can see my box slightly. You usually can't see it. I can move the webcam just so you can get that in frame. But you can see my other long box there. I've got a short box because it looks cooler, but I filled it up already. Sadness. But yeah, I just wanted to have that in frame because I think it's pretty cool. It'll probably be a different short box next month because, like I said, I filled this up, so I need another one. Anyway, just quickly, it's not really an honorable mention because I've got a couple of those at the end. But this is just to say that a lot of people are probably who watch this video are going to be expecting Thanos wins to be in here and maybe even number one. Just from the reactions that I've seen on Twitter and stuff like that, people are really, really loving this book. I haven't read it yet. When I went into my local comic book store, they just didn't have it. Otherwise, I would have bought it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just, if it's that good, it's gonna be next month's top 5. Whether as an honorable mention or actually in it, I'm not decided yet. It isn't. It is technically, it was published in June. So it wouldn't make sense to do it for July, but it was the end of June, and like I said, circumstances I couldn't get a hold of it in time. So we shall see. But yeah, let's just move on to number 5 of the top 5. I put these in an order, just because I feel like this will help out with people. Because I feel like they're going to also use the series. People are also going to use the series to decide what books to start reading or jump onto. Because if it's like any last reboot of the Marvel comic universe, there's going to be a lot of jumping on points because that sells comics. Anyway, and number 5. We have Tony Stark, Iron Man. Oof, that glare. Lovely. We have Tony Stark, Iron Man, Self-Made Man, Part 1. Another thing to quickly say, all reviews for all these comics that I'm going to show, I have reviews on my channel. All of them will have links in the description. So sorry about that. So if you want to go and see the individual review and go into the minutiae of the comics, then make sure to go into the description. But just briefly, I like the whole mechanic of different Iron Man suits for different jobs. It's the same with Thor 2, how they've sort of adapted that as well. I'm pretty sure that's due to the Iron Man story going on right now. And just that he's more of a mechanic. He's teaching, he's bringing on people and creating a team and calling it a Team Iron Man, which is something new to me for the character anyway. So that just all those things together just seems interesting. Just something new and fresh is just really cool for me. Moving swiftly on to Multiple Man, number 4. So Multiple Man is here not due to my love for the characters or due to the particularly great writing, honestly. It's just due to the absurdness of the scenario. Sometimes that can carry an issue, even though I don't like saying it because people sometimes, especially like in comics like Doctor Strange, especially the new reboot and stuff like that, they will use the scenario to carry bad writing. Like I said, it's not good writing, but it's not bad writing. Everything else is like fine. It's just that the scenario is absolutely insane due to the fact that there's time travel as well as duplicates of Multiple Man. It's just like those two things clashing is insane to think about. Never mind read. There is a crying baby. Oh my god. Moving on to number 3. So number 3 is actually Lando. I seem to have not picked this up in the list. That is because it is not Lando. I've just realised Lando is an honourable mention. God damn it. Number 3 is actually sorry about this. Issue 49. The Flash, Flash War Part 3. This is another comic that is in this list because of the absurdity of it, but it's also it's in this because of the great writing that's been building up to this as well. I think it was Flash War Part 2, issue 48 of the Flash. I detested Barry, and just my disdain for him was like ever present constantly. But I think that's on purpose because how well written the Grodd and Negative Flash arc before this is the reason why I feel that way, and for an arc to make me feel that way about such a beloved character who's trying to do the right thing. Like because of the last arc, it's pitting me against Wally, which I don't think is the intention necessarily, or I don't think is how it's supposed to work. I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be on the Flash's side because he's trying to prevent Wally from doing something bad. But I'm just like, Flash, shut up! You're a hypocritical bastard. You just did that in the last arc. And yeah, that's just a sign of great writing, but also the fact that they're racing around the world constantly, like trying, almost destroying it. Superman can't keep up with him. Green Lantern can't do anything. I just feel that was such interesting, action-packed all the time. It was action-packed. Not really because anything was happening. Like I said this in the review as well. Like I said, link in the description to all of them. Sorry for hitting the mic. The the vast majority of this issue is dialogue. It is completely dialogue, but the because they are running around the world, and we have been told in a different area, like with the Justice League, that them running around the world is destroying the world, but also just them running around the world and running so fast and talking, it makes, when I read it in my head, the dialogue, they're out of breath, they're constantly panting, and there's just this urgency all the time, even though they're just having a conversation. You know what I mean? And I feel like that is, it's sort of like a really good collaboration between the artist and obviously the writer to sort of create this scenario. Next is going to be a controversial one. A lot of people will probably have this book at number 1, just because of how much they're loving the series right now. I'm not loving the series right now, but I did love this issue so much that it made its way to number 2. It is Venom. So Venom issue 3 is at number 2. This is just due to the art, as well as the incredible introduction of a new villain called Null. Miles Morales is in there. That's really cool. And overall, I can't really say too much about it other than that, because it was very much a non-issue in terms of sort of anything. Honestly, it had really good subtleties, which made just an action story work. Yeah, the comedy when it was necessary. My God, I like nearly swallowed my tongue then. It had comedy when it was necessary. It had seriousness when it was necessary. Nothing felt forced. Everything flowed perfectly. The art was incredible. That's the only thing that's been consistently incredible with the Venom series so far. And just the scenario was great as well. Just seeing the characters react in the scenario, and seeing the characters be true to themselves despite their appearances in other books and how they've sort of been flimsy with their characters. I think that's just due to the disrespect that the writers have had. Well, I'm talking specifically about Dan Slott and Venom here. I don't know why I'm trying to add plurals to it so you don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'll go into more detail in the separate review. So, number 1, you probably know what this is if you watched the review. You probably did if you're watching this and you're subscribed to my channel, because the vast majority of my views when it comes to comics comes from this series. It is The Amazing Spider-Man issue 801. This is a beautiful love letter to not Spider-Man. It's to the people he saves. And that just freed me for a loop. The fact that was the main point of Dan Slott's last issue. Now, I talked about him disrespecting Venom. He has, just to do this, not just to go out with a bang, to do whatever he wants. He can literally do whatever he wants with this final issue. Can make him fight the Sinister Six. Can make him fight every single Spider-Man rogue in the history. Could do whatever he wants. Could kill off a character and then just leave it for Mark Waid to pick up. I think it's Mark Waid writing it. I might have just made a mistake there. Don't quote me on that. I swear it was Mark Waid though. Oh, that might have been Doctor Strange. I'm not too sure. Sorry about that. But yeah, so Spider-Man was just such an amazing issue. Like I said, just because it it focused on the people he saves, and not only that, the main protagonist, the main story wasn't Spider-Man, and I feel like I just have so much respect for Dan Slott when it comes to making his last issue that. And it was so powerful. I had chills throughout the entire thing, and just the parallels between that were happening with the story, how the story came full circle. It was just really handled with care, and that's what I love so much about it. There was no ham hands on this one, that's for sure. The only problem with it for me is the cover. The cover it signifies a lot. But overall, I just didn't really like the way it was drawn. But it was obviously supposed to be drawn in like this classic format. And I do like the fact that the suit sort of merges with the background. Like there isn't really too much of an outline. The outline is actually despite the web pattern on his suit. So yeah. So overall, it's been a great review, a great comic month, I think. Anyway, I've read more comics than I've ever read in a month. 18. Usually, I only read like 6, 7 at a push. So 18 is pretty good, and it's only going to get more, I think. Well, that's not technically true. I'm going to drop off some series like Deadpool. I'm going to drop off, like, if we're going to do a top 5 worst, I could probably come up with about 3, I think. Like, that were actually terrible, and I really didn't like. But yeah, moving on to honorable mentions quickly. Spider-Man 800, I know wasn't this month, but it was so close to being this month. We nearly had 2 Spider-Man comics within the same month. They were within the same month of each other, but not calendar months. They was within 3 weeks of each other, which is pretty good. Like, I think since I've started reading Spider-Man, which has been since 789, I don't think there's been a bi-week. I think there's been 1 bi-weekly issue, maybe 2 at a push, but I think only 1. So the fact that we get them so close together is really cool. And we'll be getting another Spider-Man issue in July, which will be Spider-Man issue 1, which has been advertised and plastered all over every single comic I've read. So yeah. And the other honorable mention is Thor 2, just because I really enjoyed it. I just didn't enjoy it as other stuff. And finally, Lando. Lando issue 2 was very action-packed. It was fun. It was what the movie should have been, like I said in the review that I did. And yeah, so if you want to check out any individual reviews, if you think that I just glossed over the comic, I will have a more detailed look at the comic in the description. Just click on the link and you'll be able to go to it. So yeah, also for future reference, you'll be able to cheat on what the top 5 is, I guess, by going into the description. But if you want to do that, that's fine. If you just want sort of a portal to what my top 5 are, so you can look at them and look at the reviews more in depth, then you can do. But yeah, so that's me for now, guys. So if you really enjoyed this video, or if you just slightly enjoyed it, then make sure to leave a like, subscribe, because I do comic and manga reviews, as well as starting to do anime and movie reviews as well. We're not starting to do movie reviews. I've been doing movie reviews for a while, but I've got plans to do different anime reviews, not episodes. Probably like I'll get a plan to do like my thoughts after watching 3 episodes of, because the 3-episode rule in anime and stuff like that. So if this all interests you, then please subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, because I do small reviews on there as well before the actual reviews come out. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and all good stuff. Been Nozda, and hopefully I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye. Please click the button. Sorry about this.